A very good evening to one and all. I'm Riddhi, Assistant Professor at the Department of Communicative English, Asutosh College. On behalf of my department and the Internal Quality Assurance Cell at Asutosh College, I heartily welcome you all to Communicatio Lumus, our series of national webinars celebrating the power of language and communication. I'm delighted to welcome you to the sixth webinar of our series today, titled Being a Government Communicator, Opportunities and Prospects. Most students of media and communication tend to look at the private sector as their only source of employment. However, the government too recruits media professionals to circulate information to the public via the mass media and to provide the government feedback about public reaction regarding certain government policies. So our today's speaker, Sriyanka Chatterjee, a communication professional with years of experience as a media and communications officer with the Press Information Bureau of India, is here to talk to you about the lesser known terrain of government communication and share with you the prospects and opportunities in this area. Before we proceed, I request the organizing secretary Shuruma to please introduce the speaker in a few words. Over to you, Shuruma.
Thank you, Riddhi. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shuroma, Assistant Professor at the Department of Communicative English, Asutosh College. Today, we are privileged to have with us Sriyanka Chatterjee, Media and Communication Officer at Press Information Bureau, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Having completed her postgraduate diploma in mass communication from Jadavpur University, Sriyanka Chatterjee worked as an intern with the Statesman, where she focused on city reports and sports articles. She worked for 3 years in a public sector undertaking before joining Indian Information Service as Press and Communication Officer. She works in the area of disseminating government information about policies, programs, decisions, initiatives, and achievements to the general public through mass media, and providing feedback to the government about people's reactions as reflected in media. She is adept in government communication via press releases, press notes, backgrounders, feature articles, and social media updates. She is also responsible for organizing press conferences and press meets, for sensitizing media persons about the important policy initiatives of the government. On behalf of our department, I would like to thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us here today. And we are really excited to listen to you. Over to you, ma'am.
A very good evening to all of you. Today, we have come together to discuss, know, learn, think together. In short, to communicate about government communication or public sector communication. So that is the core topic of the day. Before getting into the core topic, I would like to share two perspectives about communication as a profession and communication as a professional skill. So a few days back, my department had organized a webinar on National Education Policy 2020. And there we had as a speaker, as a guest speaker, the director of IIM Indore, Dr. Himanshu Rai. So there, Dr. Rai made a point that subjects like communication and negotiation, ethics, they should be introduced to students as early as in the school level. So what he said is that these are very important professional skills that should be possessed by all professionals. So he made a point in favor of having communication as a subject and trying to ingrain it as a skill in all professionals and all students from as early as possible. So communication, we understand, is a very important skill which all professionals require. Okay. And the second point is I was reading a blog that is written by a Canadian communication professional. She has a website called clevin.com. If any one of you want to check it out and you want to Google it, so there she's a social media consultant basically. So there she has a blog on how people view as communication as a profession. Okay, so she was saying that her people, her family, everybody, people around her, her family, her friends, her friends from other professions. All right, so they basically do not have a clear idea, and they're not sure about what sort of values, or no, not values exactly, value addition can a communication professional bring to any company, or for that matter, to the government, or any institution. Okay, so what she says is that um, the people whom she asked do not have a clear idea, and do not think basically that communication can itself be a professional field. They look at it as a skill that should be there, that all communication professionals should possess, but communication as a specialized field is not very popular. So basically what people think is that communication is an activity in which all of us engage in throughout the day. So what basically can a dedicated cadre of communication professionals in any company or any institution, government, anywhere, what sort of work can they possibly and potentially do? So in this context, I would first like to thank the organizers, the Department of Communicative English of Asutosh College, for organizing the series of webinars where professionals from different fields of communication come and share knowledge. This sort of knowledge sharing webinar for the benefit of students and young professionals who want to take it up as a career. So now, going to the core topic, let me first share my screen. So yes, so government communication. All right. I found this very inspiring line while going through internet. Yeah, in the blog of, as I was telling you, Cleveland Prevalon. Okay, so she says, and I found this very inspiring. That's why I thought of starting my presentation with this. Okay, so she says, I find joy in empowering, educating, and engaging people. What beautiful words. I think this should be the goal and aim and motivation for all communication professionals, isn't it? And it is more so for government communicators, for public service communicators, for whatever you are doing in government communications is for the benefit of the general public, to the last man there at the remotest corner of your country, right? So why is government communication necessary? To understand this, first let us discuss a little bit about what possibly can be the work of a government. Okay, so any government in any democratic country is concerned and is mandated to carry out welfare activities and design programs and policies for the development and welfare of its citizens, isn't it? So the very policies and the very programs and the welfare schemes which are meant for the people have to reach them. How will it reach them, and how will people know unless and until you take it to them? In other words, unless and until you communicate it to them. So whatever decisions the government is taking, so it has to reach to the people right there, to the last man in the remotest corner of the country. It is very important. Otherwise, the whole program will be a failure. If it doesn't reach everybody, if it doesn't reach the intended beneficiaries, then it will not take off, and the purpose will be defeated. So you need communication professionals for that, and you need a dedicated department or ministry for that purpose, right? So government communication is a powerful tool. Government communication is a powerful tool to foster development. And it is and communication, as we all know, as we have all studied in as students, in the first chapter of mass media, that communication is a two-way process. Okay, it is not only about saying, it is also about receiving feedback. So receiving feedback will only happen when you can engage citizens as active contributors in governance and nation building. So you have to take the citizens in your favor as you move along, as you design development programs, schemes for them, and you have to make them active participants of it. So you need feedback from them also, right? So, and effective government communication is not only an imperative, but it is a driver of good governance, as I said. And government communication will have to go on. There are lots of schemes across various ministries and departments in the country at the level of the central government, as well as at the level of state governments and union territories. So the communicators who are responsible for taking to the people the schemes of the government, the development schemes, the welfare schemes designed for them, will always have to be at work. And more so during times of crisis like this. We are going through, the whole world is going through a crisis, a pandemic right now. At times like this, the importance of communication from authorities, from government authorities, has become all the more important, isn't it? And not only during times of crisis, and during good times also, development activities have to go on, right? As it is the mandate of the government to go on trying to improve the life of its citizens, and bring positivity in their life. So it has to go on doing its development work, and at the same time, it has to be communicated to the people so that they can be taken into confidence, and and then only whatever works are being done for them will bear some results, some positive results. Okay, since I'm in central government, and to give some example of how government carries out its communication activities, I've chosen some schemes and some decisions, policies of the central government to highlight. So we all know about this Siddhi Se Sankalp. Okay, Siddhi Se Sankalp. It was started by Honorable Prime Minister. Okay, let us go back to 2017. Let me give a bit of the background of this movement, Siddhi Se Sankalp movement. Okay, so in 2017, our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, on August 9, 2017, precisely, which happens to be a date of historic importance in India, as it is the date of Quit India movement. On that very day in 2017, our Honorable Prime Minister made a speech in Lok Sabha where he urged the citizens to take the country forward, to take a firm resolve to end certain menaces which are holding back the country very dearly. And what are those menaces? Poverty, terrorism, corruption, communalism, uncleanliness, and casteism. You know, so the Prime Minister gave a clarion call to bring about a new India by bringing an end to these menaces, and the government, they had been adopting policies and development programs to this end, and the government since then gave a clarion call to build a new India by bringing about an end to all these menaces which are holding back the country very dearly. So now, whatever developmental policies and schemes that those are adopted are targeted towards that one very important goal, that is bringing about a new India, an India where there will be an end to poverty, terrorism, corruption, communalism, uncleanliness, and casteism, right? So let us go to the next slide. Here I've chosen a few infographics which highlight some of the government schemes. Okay, first is the Swachh Bharat. There, the icon, the logo of Swachh Bharat is designed after Gandhiji's spectacles. Gandhi is a big icon of India, and the father of the nation had advocated advocated that cleanliness can bring about real freedom for the citizens, right? So it was this movement, when it was started in 2013, it was linked to this philosophy of Gandhiji. And so the logo of the Swachh Bharat movement is such that it looks like the specs of Gandhi. And what is it? What does it say? What is the motto? Ek kadam swachhata ki or, right? So, and it is about bringing an end to uncleanliness. It is about developing a Swachh Bharat, a step towards New India. And connected with the Swachh Bharat is the Darwaza Band movement, okay, that you can see towards the bottom of the slide. Okay, so Darwaza Band is it's a part of the Swachh Bharat movement. It's basically a behavioral change campaign. You know, in 2019, India made an achievement by attaining the status of open defecation free. So, do you think it would have been possible had this idea of Darwaza Band, or like not defecating in the open, being taken to the citizens, urging them to bring about a behavioral change? So communication, as I was saying, has a big role in behind the success of the programs. So now the country is in the stage of open ODF class, which means it's a sustained behavioral change campaign. You know, it is still going on, and icons of the country like Amitabh Bachchan and Anushka Sharma, you all know that they are the ambassadors of this movement. So communication is being designed in such a way that these people who are role models for the country, they are advocating people at the rural areas, people in the remote areas who earlier didn't have toilets in their home. Okay, so they are advocating that now that they all have toilets, so it is required to tell them to urge them to, you know, constantly go on motivating them to use the toilets and not defecate in the open for health reasons and environmental reasons and other reasons. So what I was saying, the point is that if the movement has become if India has become open defecation free, a part of its success must be given to the government communicators and the communication designs of the government that actually made it happen. Okay, this way, there are various schemes of the central government. We all know about the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So the scheme was started, and then the government had to, through its communication machineries, through the various mass media, go on motivating people, go on urging people to have bank accounts, right? So again, then if you look at GST, a new taxation system, the government has formed the rules and everything, very good. But then it has to reach the people, right? For that, after the GST was launched, there were print media advertisements, there were radio ads, there were TV ads, and various sort of knowledge sharing sessions for making the people aware of its various provisions, right? Make in India is another flagship scheme of the government in which the government is pushing the people, is motivating, incentivizing people, the manufacturers, okay, to make products in India and to bring down the level of exports. So that way, let us talk about two different schemes. Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat is going on. It's a scheme you all must be aware. Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, okay, speaks about having unity in the country.
Sriyankadi,
Hello, yes.
yeah, I'm just sorry to intervene. Please put the other system from which you are logged in on mute.
Okay.
Like put that entire audio off. Otherwise, we are
All
not
right.
being able to get a clear audio from this.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Right? Okay. Yeah, please continue.
Yeah. Is it okay? Okay. Is my voice clear?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat speaks about unity, having unity in the country, in this multi-linguistic, multicultural country. It speaks about bringing about unity. So A lot of communication activities are going on around it, and then exchange programs between students and people of the tourism industry and others. They are brought together. So if you look into the website of mygov.in, you will find a lot of the quizzes, essays, interactive programs designed so that means the government wants citizens to participate. Okay, so these are all communication designs. Okay, which are these communication designs which are aimed at engaging the citizens, taking them along while carrying out development activities. I've also put the poster of Dekho Apna Desh. It is okay. If you speak about it, Incredible India, another scheme of the government which is going on since 2002, particularly to inform and inspire the foreign travelers to come to India. You know that tourism is a big foreign exchange earner. So Incredible India has been designed not just for the foreign tourists, for the Indian tourists as well. And Dekho Apna Desh is another such scheme project, communication design, which is aimed at the domestic tourists, the Indian citizens. They are being motivated to visit different parts of the country other than their own state, okay, to know more about India. So a lot of designs, a lot of planning are there behind these activities. Okay, now let me talk about a scheme which is very important in a patriarchal society. So it's called Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. It was started in 2014 with an aim. No, sorry, I'm sorry, in 2015 with an aim to hit the patriarchal mindset of the country. Okay, it was started basically from the states and districts having a skewed child sex ratio, which was against girl children. So, but basically the scheme highlights all the steps taken by the government for which are aimed at empowering girl child, empowering women, empowering to ensuring their survival protection. Okay, so it's a big behavioral change campaign. So government communicators have to undertake behavioral change campaigns, right? Okay, the next slide. Yeah. So a government doesn't just communicate with its own citizens. Government will also have to communicate with foreign countries, the outside world. Okay, so in this respect, I chose to highlight the 150th birth anniversary celebrations of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so on the 150th birth anniversary uh, in 2018, basically, so the Ministry of External Affairs had undertaken a public diplomacy initiative in which artists from 124 countries were brought together to sing Gandhiji's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan to Tene Kahiye. I'm very sure you all must have seen it, how artists and musicians from different countries came together and a beauty video was made where all of them are singing this, Vaishnav Jan to Tene Kahiye. What a beautiful way to uphold India's ideals and cultures and beliefs and values. So that is how India communicates with the outside world also. Okay, we have to speak about COVID-19 because it is an extraordinary time. And in times like this, it is more than necessary. It is very important for the government to be in constant touch with its citizens. And citizens also are following the government's guidelines from time to time, isn't it? So a lot of behavioral change campaigns have been undertaken in this period also. Okay, so now you know that government is all these advices, all these advisories that are being issued from the government, like wear a mask, maintain social distance. This has to reach every person of the country, right there to the last man in the remotest village of the country, right? For that, government is constantly, as we hear, going on sending messages across all mass media, in social media. So I have chosen one such campaign, one such video. So it's like, okay, you don't have to hear this. If you see this, it will be enough because the message is there in the visuals. So these are the COVID appropriate behaviors. Greet people without touch, maintain distance, wear homemade face cover or mask. These are all very important messages during this period of crisis, and it has to be taken to the people over and over again, which is happening, and in all possible ways, through all possible media, government media as well as private media, social media. So this is again very important. You should seek information only from credible sources. A lot of misinformation has been happening in this time. Mm. So basically, the other infographics that you're seeing are related to Corona, right? To break the stigma. We all know that unfortunately there was a period, it has lessened now, it is not happening that much, when the care providers, the healthcare workers, and even people who were tested positive were facing a lot of bad behaviors from society, and that is really detrimental and can have, you know, that was sort of stigmatizing them, and that had other effect, and that sort of had other um, bad fallouts, like people who who had some symptoms were not coming out. So government were not coming out, were not getting tested, visiting doctors. So government had to constantly motivate. Government is still motivating the people to break the stigma, come out, well, break the stigma. Do not stigmatize people who have tasted COVID positive. Do not outcast them in society. And another problem that has emerged in these times of Corona is that of mental depression. So government is going on, the government authorities, right from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare to institutions, premier mental care institution, mental health care institutions like NIMHANS, they are sending out this sort of messages. They are constantly going on advising citizens, okay, how to handle this sort of this period of self isolation, such trying times, okay, and to keep mental illness at bay. So yes. So this is how the government has to go on communicating with people. All right. So now let me come to setups under which government communicators work in India. Um, all these themes, all these infographics that I have been showing are of the union government. But apart from the union government, there are setups, there are under state governments and union territory administrations as well. You also need communicators to take across the policies of the state government to the people. In West Bengal, there's the Information and Cultural Affairs Department. Under them, there are information officers, there are district information and cultural affairs officers, there are subdivisional information and cultural affairs officers who communicate about government schemes to at their level. Okay, similar setups are there at the level of union territory administrations also. And apart from this, we know that there are many public sector organizations. So in their corporate setups, they have corporate communications officials who are carrying out the task of informing people and media about their respective companies. So you have a lot of option to work in the field of government communications. Okay, now coming to the setup of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, where I work. So first of all, you have to know that Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is the face of the union government in reaching out to the masses. Means the government reaches out and communicates with the masses through this particular ministry. It is entrusted with the task of disseminating information about government policies, schemes, and programs. So any communication that is coming out from the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is a government communication, official communication, as we say. Okay, so it reaches out to people through different mass media, through different medium of mass communication, and it also is concerned with policy matters related to private broadcasting sector, administering the public broadcasting service. Prasar Bharati, it is the parent body of Doordarshan and All India Radio. Multimedia advertisement on behalf of the government. Okay, so whenever government, any departments of the government or any ministry has to advertise about any schemes, it will go through the Ministry of the designated department under Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. I'm coming to that in the later slides. This apart, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is also concerned with film promotion and certification. All right, a film is an important media for reaching out to people, for upholding the country's culture, and whatever about the country. Okay, and not just the country, about the world also. So there's a particular department, under Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, which deals with film promotion, and this Ministry of Information and Broadcasting also regulates and certifies print media. So I'll just run through this shortly. So there's an information wing, which is in charge of presentation and interpretation of the policies and activities of the government. In short, information wing is the medium for reaching out to the people, disseminating information about government policies. And if you work under government, if you work under the setup of Ministry Information and Broadcasting as a government communicator, you will be most probably be posted in one of the media units under the information wing. So apart from this, as I said, Ministry of this information wing is also concerned with with policy guidelines, framing the policy guidelines for government advertisements. Okay, now let us look at the broadcasting wing. Broadcasting wing administers the organizations under Prasar Bharati, with the All India Radio and Doordarshan. Okay, and apart from this, it is also concerned with development of radio and television broadcasting throughout the union, the community radios, okay, and also the technical aspects of radio stations, transmitters, right, and multi-system operators. Okay, and there's the film wing. I told you the government also has the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting also looks after film promotion, and it administers the Cinematograph Act. You all must be knowing about the CVFC, Central Bureau of Certification. All films have to get certified before it is released for public screening and public exhibition. So CVFC under the films wing does that job. Okay. So the media units, there are lots of organizations, lots of departments under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So as a government communicator, you'll be working in the media units, in one of the media units mostly, or maybe some of the organizations under some of the organizations. I mean, sorry, the units under Prasar Bharati. Okay, so let us look at the media units. What are the wins? And all this have their own functions, their designated functions, particular way of carrying out communication. Okay, there's the Press Information Bureau, Bureau of Outreach and Communication, Publications Division, Office of the Registrar of Newspapers for India, RNI, Central Board of Film Certification, Films Division, Directorate of Film Festivals, Photo Divisions. Okay, so these are basically the media units. Okay, now let me tell you about the Press Information Bureau, where I work. So Press Information Bureau, in a sentence, can be called the voice of the government, the voice of the union government, to be precise. Okay, so it is an interface between the government and the media. So if government has to make any communication to the general public through the media, the Press Information Bureau will form the platform. So whatever official communication is given out, I'm sorry, on behalf of the government goes out through the Press Information Bureau, and the Principal Director General is the spokesperson of the Government of India. the principal DG of PIB, is the spokesperson of the Government of India. This pic which I've shared over here, you all must be acquainted with this especially during this time of COVID. So press conferences are being organized. It was being organized, and it is still organized every day to inform people about the latest updates on COVID, okay, and the protocols that the government is taking, the guidelines of the health ministry. Okay, so senior officials of health ministry and home affairs ministry used to participate. On the extreme left is our principal DG, is the principal DG of PIB. So he conducts the conferences with the other government officials from coming from other government ministries. So this sort of press conferences are organized by PIB from time to time to send out to public messages about messages which the government has to deliver. So the Press Information Bureau is the nodal agency of the Government of India to disseminate information to the print, electronic and social media on government policies, programs, initiatives and achievements. This apart, PIB also does a very important job of providing feedback to the government on the reaction of people as reflected in the media. Okay, two-way communication. A message is going out, a feedback has to come, and feedback is very important. The feedback is collected from as it is reflected in the print media, in the print media, in social media, various media. There's a separate department which monitors electronic media. I'll be coming to that. So feedback is very important so that government people, officials of various ministries who are concerned with that can take that into account and decide further course of action, right? Okay, so basically PIB sends out messages to press briefings, press conferences, daily press releases. If you go to the website of PIB, you will be seeing press releases from various ministries which are given out. Those are the official statements of the government of those ministries. Okay, so and just to give an idea about the importance of the press releases given out by PIB, let me tell you that even in court cases where government is a litigant, these press releases are taken into account and are considered. Okay, so these are official documents. These are the official stand of the Government of India, right? So the Bureau of Outreach and Communication, Bureau of Outreach and Communication is like a service agency. The Bureau at Delhi, it undertakes multimedia advertisement and publicity, does all sort of advertisement related works on behalf of the client ministries of the various ministries of government, ministries, departments, and there are some autonomous bodies also. So whatever advertisement has to of the government departments or ministries has to be made. It is done through the Bureau of Outreach and Communication, and at the regional levels, at the level of state, the bureau's departmental offices are called Regional Outreach Bureau. The Regional Outreach Bureau carries out the very important task of communicating with the people at the grassroots level, right? So the schemes, the Regional Outreach Bureau offices at various states and union territories, they take the messages of government schemes. The officers in this regional outreach bureau offices, they organize campaigns to keep the people at the grassroots level informed about the welfare schemes that are being taken, that are being adopted by the government for their benefit. So for that they use a wide array of media. Okay, so they engage performing artists. They organize drama, dance drama. There's a song and drama division under the Bureau of Outreach Communication. So basically, empaneled artists of the song and drama division will go to the remote areas and organize dramas and ballets and so all sort of traditional media are employed basically, okay, to propagate messages about the government's policies and programs. Okay, so since you won't be able to hear, I have chosen, and another thing is, by the way, these programs are carried out in the regional languages and local languages so that it reaches to the intended beneficiaries, it reaches to the people at the grassroots level. So puppetry is a very common form of entertainment at rural areas. So here's one puppetry show. If you even see this, you will be able to understand. So this woman is saying, this is in Bengali. This was used by the Regional Outreach Bureau in Calcutta to propagate the message of, okay, MGNREGA, and you can see these puppets are wearing masks. So it is giving out this message that it was done during Corona time only. So it is giving out this message that you have to wear a mask, right? This is how you motivate people, inform people, influence people. So their activities are carried out in regional languages to reach to the people at the grassroots level. Okay, so we have a department which is concerned with publications. Okay, on they bring out various publications, which is called Publications Division, and they bring out various publications on matters of national importance and India's rich cultural heritage. The job seekers, you must be knowing about the employment news. The employment news is a publication under which is brought out by Publications Division. Every job seeker in the country, every government job seeker in the country knows about it. Okay, and India Yearbook, this is another very important publication which is referred to by all civil service aspirants and other government service aspirants. Okay, India Yearbook is also an important publication. Besides this, it's a treasure trove of books. So they bring out journals, periodicals on a lot of matters of national importance. For example, they have a whole series on Gandhi's philosophy. Then there's a series on Indian festivals. Okay, so I would urge you all to visit their website and check out. There are lots of books on different topics for children, for people of all age group, for people. Okay, so just check it out. So there, let me add a line. Government communicators, basically the information service officers, they work as editors of these magazines. Okay, so there are other officers like Registrar of Newspapers for India. Theirs is basically a statutory job. Okay, so all newspapers and publications which are published in India must have a RNI registration number. So this office basically is concerned with that, manages that, and they also submit an annual report of print media scenario of the country to the government. Okay, so there's a new media wing under the government which does the research and reference works, and it also it is also the functional and operational. It also provides support, functional and operational support to social media cell of the ministry. The social media cell, which is very active, comes under the new media wing. So as I'm saying all this, these are the places, I'm trying to highlight the sort of work the Indian Information Service officials are doing under this organizations, under this media units, under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So as I'm discussing this works, you get to, I think I'm sending out an idea of what sort of work happens. Okay, so there's also an electronic media monitoring center. Okay, so this is as the name suggests, it keeps an eye on all the content that is being broadcasted over 900 channels, okay, in the Indian territory, and they have a very advanced setup. Advanced technology is used for that work. Okay, now let me speak a little bit about the government's outreach to social media. Okay, I've taken certain infographics of from the various Twitter handles, from various, not just Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and the media units under Media Information and Broadcasting. I've also chosen some messages that have been sent out over Twitter by organizations like Mumbai Police. Okay, so just to show you how they engage with the public all right, through Twitter. So the first one is, if you see the first one, it's about, it's a tweet that was made by my office. Okay, during the period of lockdown, the idea was basically to motivate people to be in lockdown and not to venture out. Okay, during the first period, the first lockdown of 21 days. Okay, so we said, well, here we wanted to send a message to the Harry Potter fans. Okay, and we said, did you know that Harry Potter was always safe at his home? Yes, Voldemort never attacked Harry when he was home. Wonder why? Well, ask any Harry Potter fan you know. Stay home during lockdown. Stay home, stay safe. So this is like comparing coronavirus to Voldemort and urging people to stay at home. Just stay at home, like Harry used to stay at home, and Voldemort could do no harm to Harry when he was at his home. So that is how Corona won't be able to touch you all if you're at your home. So Mumbai police has also created that sort of a meme. Okay, to say here they have here they have like employed the Godfather. I mean, and said that your enemy Corona always gets strong on the mask you leave behind. Godfather of safety taking it on Corona. So, and besides this, Ministry of Health is constantly sending out messages in various ways, in various entertaining ways, and they're also using a bit of humor in this period. Okay, and then MIV's dedicated handle, which is for sending out Corona news, news related to coronavirus and this pandemic. Okay, so they also have a lot of very creative tweets. Okay, so in which they are urging people to follow whatever directions and guidelines are being given by government. And here I want to make a point that many people feel that government communication is very mundane. Okay, very mundane. Okay, there's not much creativity in it. It's not so, not so. So if you look at the various ways government reaches out to people, you will see that there's a lot of creativity in it, and there's a lot of entertainment also. So like for the just to just say on this point, stress on this point. So in reaction to one of our tweets where so we said we were urging people to stay at home during lockdown. We said that we use Tom and Jerry, these characters of Tom and Jerry, and we said Jerry could not be harmed by Tom when he was in his hole, if he was in his nest, in his corner. Okay, so if you stay within your home, where no corona can touch you. That's it. So, and it was appreciated people from all corners of the world. So we had I think some government body, okay, from outside India. They said from some handle, some from official handle, we got this comment. I really loved it. Humor is most welcome in this time. So that's it. So government also uses a lot of creativity. Okay, so government also is various government offices are active in Facebook, or what communication is done through Facebook also. Okay, especially here I have chosen some infographics of Ministry of Health and Press Information Bureau. Okay, the first two are related to Corona, advocating washing hands, and the do's and don'ts, other do's and don'ts of this period. And another one, we use a lot of infographics. Okay, it is about agricultural commodities. So the purpose is to send out a message in a way that it it attracts people, it engages them and holds their attention, right? Okay, so now coming about how to enter into the service, how to enter into Indian information, the entry levels of Indian information service. Okay, so there are two levels. One is the IAS Group A. You can you can work as an IAS officer, Indian Information Service officer, by entry through three levels to be precise. One is the IAS Group A, and there are two levels of entry in IAS Group B. The senior grade is a gazetted post, and in junior grade, where freshers are basically taken, they start from a non-gazetted position. Okay, so IAS Group A, they are Group A officers. They come through direct recruitment through civil service examination held by UPSC every year. So if you want to join Indian Information Service in Group A, you have to sit for civil service examination, and there, along with other services like Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, Indian Information Service can also be a choice for you. And this apart, IAS Group B officers also have a option, means they also get promoted, and their promotion is considered after completion of 5 years of regular service. Okay, about entry level pay. According to the seventh pay commission, okay, which is in place now, the entry level pay will be as that of at par with level 10. These are technical terms now. So they got a basic of 56,100, which comes to a gross of about above 90,000, I think. Okay, in any tier 1 city. If you're posted in any tier 1 city, you'll draw that kind of a salary. So for senior grade Group B, there are 2 levels of entry. One is a gazetted post. The junior grade Group B is a non-gazetted post. For the senior grade Group B, the recruitment is done by UPSC. Okay, and this apart, the junior grade officers also, after completing 5 years of regular service, are considered for promotion to the senior grade. And the entry level pay is that of level 7 of 7th Central Pay Commission, which has a basic of 44,900, which means that it comes to something around say 60 to 65,000 in a tier 1 city. All right, and for junior grade Group B officers, the recruitment till the last time was done by Staff Selection Commission. It's a non-gazetted post, and the entry level pay is that of level 6 of Central Pay Commission, which has a basic of 35,400, which means in a person joining in junior grade Group B will draw salary at the entry level, a gross salary in a tier 1 city of about 50,000. Okay, all right. About the eligibility, eligibility of for the senior grade of for the IAS Group A, the eligibility for sitting in the UPSC exam is that the eligibility is that of for civil services examination. Okay, and let me tell you a bit about the information service and recruitments in Group B. For the eligibility criteria for senior grade Group B officers is that it has an age limit of 30 years. You should not exceed 30 years. Educational qualification is a degree of any recognized university, diploma, and this is a very important point. Indian Information Service officers who join in Group B should possess a degree or diploma, postgraduate diploma in mass communication. So if you study mass communication in your bachelor's, then also you'll be eligible to sit for this exam. Okay, and in the senior grade, they ask for an experience of 2 years of journalistic experience, publicity or public relation work in a government department, PSU, or even in the private media. All right, or in any other listed private organization, as it has been said. And recruitment is made on the basis of language. So this post are basically on the basis of language. So if you might be chosen for Bengali language, if you're a Bengali knowing person, all right, for that you have to study the language for which you have applied up to class 10 at least. Okay, so your recruitment is done on the basis of language in the various regional languages like Bengali, Oriya, Telugu. Okay, so that, and at the junior grade level, the age limit remains same, 30 years. Educational qualification is also same. Here there is some concession in experience. Basically, freshers can apply, okay, in the junior grade, and they can start off as an Indian Information Service officer. Okay, so, and here that's why experience is said desirable and not mandatory. So desirable experience is 1 year of experience, 1 year of experience in the field of journalism, any journalistic experience. Language and recruitment is made language wise. As I said, you have to study the language for you applying up to class 10. So yes, talking about the service conditions. Okay, so you'll be in a probation for 2 years. Okay, you'll be given training at the premier Mass Communication Institute of India, Indian Institute of Mass Communication at Delhi. All right, for the senior grade Group B people undergo a training of 6 months. The IAS Group A officers undergo a training of 9 months. Okay, and the people joining in junior grade, they undergo a training of 3 months. According to the current provisions, this may change. All right, this may change as per as it is deemed fit by the government. So you have to complete a probation period of 2 years. And another thing is, these services have all India service liability. Means you can be posted in your hometown, you can be posted in any tier 1 city, or you can be posted in remote places like Port Blair or Leh. Okay, we also had an office of Directorate of Field Publicity, which is now under Regional Outreach Bureau at Nicobar. Okay, publicity activities, field level publicity activities are there in every corner of the country. It has to reach every corner to serve people, as I said, living in the remotest corner of the country. So you have to be prepared to be posted anywhere, right? And that is it. So I think anyone who is people who are in the field of communications, they must be enjoying, talking with people, having new experiences, visiting new people. So I think this job is an absolute thrill for them. For this kind of people who are always looking out to have new experiences. Okay, so and visit various places. This job is an absolute thrill to them. And then with that, you also have to have a mindset of empowering people, as I said, empowering people right there at the grassroots level. Okay, so that's it. That's it from my side. Thank you. I think we can open up the session for question and answers now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an engrossing talk. And I'm sure this has widened our understanding of the career opportunities for communication professionals in the government sector and the nuances of government communication. Now, some questions have been posted by our participants in the chat box, and it would be great if you could answer some of them.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you. The first question we have is, what qualification do I need to pursue a career in government communication?
Okay, as I said in the last few slides, if you can enter the service, so I'll speak about the central government, okay? First, so if you want to enter the service at the level of IAS Group A officer, you have to pass the Union Public Service Commission's civil service examination, which is held every year. And for that, the qualification is graduation. I think that's the minimum. That's the minimum
Graduation in
qualification.
any subject, right?
Yes, in any subject. For that, please visit, I will advise that please visit UPS's website. You will get the answers to your query in a detailed manner. And for IAS Group B, the qualification is the qualification is you have to be a graduate, and plus you have to have a qualification in mass communication. All right, so you have to have a degree in mass communication or at least a postgraduate diploma in mass communication. And with that, if you want to join at the senior level, they ask for, this is for the experienced people who have had some experience in the field of journalism in any private media or print media, electronic media, or in any government media. So they are considered for it. And as a fresher also, you can join. You have to have this qualifications of being a graduate with a mass communication degree or at least a postgraduate diploma. Or even if you study mass communication as a subject in your graduation level, you'll be eligible to take the test.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is there any online courses available on government communication? Any online course?
Online courses, I'm not very sure about it, but then all the institutions which teach mass communication and all the courses which teach mass communication about government communications. Okay, so if you are asking from the perspective of learning about it, then so I'll say like I have studied in Jadavpur University, so we had chapters on government communications. So all the courses About online courses, I'm not very sure. Sorry.
The next question is, what are the perks of being a government communicator and how does it differ from a private sector job for a communication professional?
1 second, please. I heard it partly. Yeah.
Yes,
Could you please
yes.
come up
What are the
once
perks
again?
of being a government communicator? How does it
Perks.
differ
Okay.
from a private sector job for a communication professional?
Perks, as I said, perks are those it's a great job for people who like to communicate. You should have have a mindset of empowering people, all right, and you get to visit places. It has a all India service liability, so you can be posted in different places. You get to see as part of your service. You know, we all like to visit different places of the country. So as in your service, you get to visit different places, and then perks, and you get to meet with different people. And I think the biggest perk is that of, you know, you have a sense that you are empowering your people. You're empowering your fellow citizens by providing them the right information. And how does it differ from private media? Let me tell you, I think the onus is more on government communicators and all the media units that's under government to provide correct and authentic information to the people. As I said, like press information bureaus, press releases are referred to in litigations, in court, right? So you can understand what is the importance of it. And any communication that is any press release or any information that is given out through other media units of the government as well, it is taken as the official stand of the government. So you can understand how responsible you have to be and what is the importance of it. Right. So this cannot be pulled out. So that is it. So the government communicators, the media units under the government are liable to provide the correct information all the more, and they are providing the official information on behalf of the government. Right. So it's a job of it's a very responsible job, I would
Yes.
say.
The next question is, how frequently is a government communication employee transferred from one posting to the other?
Oh, now there's no answer for that, you know. It can be, I've seen colleagues who are in the same post for many years, even 10 years. And I've also seen colleagues who are transferred within 6 months. So there's no particular answer for that. You have to remain prepared. You have to remain prepared to pack up your bag and move to any part of India as and when your posting order comes. But then don't worry, it is not that bad also. You get some time. It's only in extraordinary situations that postings are given very quickly. But then you cannot say anything about it.
The next question is, 1 minute. Yes. How important do you think is humor in government communication?
Oh, it is very much important, I would say. Okay, so it's a very good question. Thanks. Um, as I said, and during COVID times, I referred to one comment we got for a Twitter post. We keep on getting comments like this. That was a humorous post. As I said, we were advocating that you should stay at home, and we took up the example of Tom and Jerry, and we said that Tom cannot harm Jerry when he's in his own hole. So stay at home. You people also stay at home. No enemy, like be it Tom, be it Corona, will be able to harm you if you're within your own home. Okay, so there was a lot of humor in that, and that was appreciated. I said, like there was from one consulate office, or Indian consulate office. Okay, so they said, and I think some other office from okay, some government office, some government authorities handle in a foreign land. They had appreciated it, and they had said that, okay, there's such a humor is a big necessity in this sort of depressing times of Corona. So yes, humor is very important, and I think if you can infuse some humor when you're sending across a message, okay, all right, so I think that finds more acceptance, and that sort of makes a point, and that sort of engages the people with whom you're communicating. So I think humor is very important, and we employ that a lot.
Thank you. The next question is, what are the steps involved in understanding how government communication works?
What are the steps which are important? Okay, what are the steps that are important in understanding how government communication works? The
Yes,
steps,
what are the steps involved?
so, and what does it
What what are the steps involved in understanding
involve?
how
And
government
yeah,
communication works?
and the second part,
And the
what does it
second part is
involve?
how to
Okay,
pursue this, how to pursue those steps.
okay, understanding how the government communication works. Okay, all right, this is, I would say, a very interesting question. Okay, steps, as I said, you can, how government communication works, it's a feedback. We're always collecting feedback, in Press Information Bureau and even the other. Okay, by the way, I forgot to mention that Doordarshan News and All India Radio News are also manned by Indian Information Service officers. Okay, it is so these are like hardcore media units. Okay, dealing with news units, hardcore news units. So, all right. So then, what coming back to the question, the reporters they also go to the field level and they check out, okay, with the intended beneficiaries, whether they are being benefited by the schemes, okay, and every day, even on Saturday and Sunday, the first job, okay, as media and communication officer for me, every day, even on Saturdays and Sundays, okay, if I've not applied for leave and I've been granted that leave, otherwise every day I'm supposed to scan the newspapers. All right, in the morning there are certain newspapers which are assigned to me. I have to scan every page and see and check out the news of the government, and I have to give a report on how it has been, whether it's a positive news, whether it's a negative news. Okay, and if it is negative, what on what basis it is being said negative. All right, so suppose there's a scheme, there's a scheme which is being implemented somewhere and there has been some problem in that, we're supposed to report all that, and so that is feedback, and we send it to, every day we send it by 10 to headquarters, and from our headquarters at PIB, I'm in the Mumbai office. From there we send it to Delhi office, and from there it goes to the various ministries, the ministries concerned, so that they can take some steps upon it. And okay,
Feedback is really
so
important.
feedback is really important.
The next question is, which was the best example of government communication for you? You have showed certain samples. So which was the best example for you?
uh, I think most of the skill, it's a very difficult question again. But then, as I will say, we did a lot of activities on Swachh Bharat, right? And I think it is successful. As we all know, in 2019, India attained the status of being ODF, but the work is still going on. It's a behavioral change campaign. I said it's a sustained. It was sustained behavioral change. We're still going on advocating and pushing and motivating people to maintain the status of ODF, open defecation free. So this is called the ODF plus stage. So I think that it's a very interesting campaign. It's a very interesting campaign. So, and it has been successful to a big extent, as we all know. So yes.
The next question is, which do you think is the most challenging part of being a government communicator?
Challenging part, okay. Challenging part, I think that you have to deliver the news at time, within time, and you have to check with your sources again and again. Our sources, by the way, here in government communication, you all must know there is no place for saying a reliable source or a source who doesn't want to get who doesn't want to get disclosed. So for us, all the sources are official sources. The ministry, all right, the officials who are in charge of that. So the challenge, as I said, is like getting the news on time and reaching it to the people, okay, and taking it to the people, seeing that it reaches the people in time. So that apart from that, yeah, that's a big challenge, and we have to work within deadlines. Okay, and apart from that, from the job aspect, let me also inform you that it is not, it might be, you might be a government employee, but you are not a 9 to 5 person or a 9 to 5 office goer. All right, so even after you come back at home, if some important development happens, you have to communicate it through your media, through the media unit you are, and at least a social media update has to be given. So this goes on. So you don't have any time limit, and any important development can happen at any time. Okay, and so it's not a 9 to 5 job. You have to be ready for it.
The next question which we have is, what website should I follow for job vacancies related to this field?
Yes, employment news. Employment news. You should follow it, and also keep a tab. Keep on following UPSC's website, SSC's website. I would have said, but then now 2 days ago, a very important development happened. We are having the National Recruitment Agency in the which has been formed by merging SSC, IBPS, and Railway Recruitment Board. Anyways, you will be kept updated through our various media handles about the development. So yes, Rozgar Samachar, employment news, you should follow it. You will get to know about it. And yes, and keep a check on the sites.
Okay, the next question is, how does a life of government communicator differ from that of a private communication professional? And why should one choose this over private sector?
ah, mm, I don't know. It's up to you. What inspires you? So basically, we have all sort of we have news units in Doordarshan. We have, I think, why should one choose government communicator's job? What was it? Government communicator's
Yes,
job over that of
private.
private media person, right? Yes. So it depends on, I would say, it depends on what inspires you. All right. Here in private media, in the government media, totally focuses on development and empowerment. So if you, as I said, as I started my presentation that way, if you have a flair for bringing about development in the life of people, right? So government is I shouldn't say it's the only option for you. Of course, it is not the only option for you. It's a very good option for you.
Yes. The last question which we have is propaganda somehow correlated with the idea of government communication?
No, I wouldn't say it's propaganda. It is giving out the right information, right? We give out information as it is. What are the various what are the various options of a scheme? All right. What are the various ways in which beneficiaries can be intended beneficiaries, or anyone can benefit. The public, the citizens can benefit from a scheme. Okay, so yes, you have to speak about the government. That is not propaganda. That okay.
And then there is another question: is government communication and government PR, are these two different things?
Government communication and government PR. So I think communication. I think it's a very good question. Government communication. It's not always government communication. Let's see, PR is definitely a part of government communication. Okay, what we are doing in Press Information Bureau is like we are developing a relation with the public, with the stakeholders of the government, the media and public. So we are reaching out to the public. We are telling them, see, government has got this sort of schemes for you. See, the government has come out with a Bima Yojana. The government has come out with a Jandhan Yojana. Government has come out with a Make in India scheme. All right, government has this provisions under Startup India scheme. All right, so we are reaching out to the people. Yes, obviously, we have to have good relations with them to reach out to them. Okay, and so PR is a part of government communication, but it is not the only part of government communication. There are more elements to it.
Yes, so these are not same, PR and government communication.
I think PR is as I said, it's a part of communication, but it is not but it is not public service communication as a whole. Public service communication has got a lot of different things. Okay, so it's about if something, for example, during the time of Amphan, for example. All right. So NDRF and NDMA, they were constantly going on communicating and updating. And these are government bodies. So to the people about what measures to be taken, to the fishermen, for example, the people in the coastal area, that they were working to move the people, people in the vulnerable areas, and radio messages. They were constantly informing the fishermen not to venture out into the sea. So this is so this these are so I think these are also communications. This doesn't really fall within within the classical definition of public relations, right? So that's what I said. So government communications has a whole lot of different aspects. Okay, so public relations, definitely we have to maintain relations with our public, with our stakeholders, but that is not the only element.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the answers. And I hope the wonderful exposure we received today would serve as an effective doorway to a career in the public
Public
service
service
communication.
communication.
Communication, yes. So, thank you so much. And on behalf of our entire organizing committee, I would like to thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us here today, despite your busy schedule. Thank you so much. I
Thanks a lot.
heartily thank our college authorities, Vice Principal, Bursar, IQAC coordinator, teachers, staff, and students of Asutosh College who have supported us in this venture. And now, all my love and hugs to our kids, our student volunteers who have worked so hard for this. Without you, this would never have been possible. So, thanks a lot. And above all, I would also like to thank each and everyone in the audience for being with us here today. And some of you have been with us for these last 6 days, and some will join us tomorrow for our last webinar. And the rest, I hope you had a wonderful learning experience. So, thank you so much. Your overwhelming response to this webinar makes us feel really, really blessed.